Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is death story. My dad and my friend. Well, my dad has been dead now for a little over 5.5 years, and not really. I'm not over it. I don't know that you ever get over the loss of your favorite people. You know, they're not there for you anymore like they were before. You don't have the tremendous enjoyment of visiting, socializing, talking, just being with. So you don't ever really get over that kind of a loss. And the other thing about that is you don't even want to, because they're just too special to you. So you hold on to the memories, you hold on to the feelings, the emotions, and you kind of enjoy a little bit of that pain of the pain of the loss, and you are thankful that for the time you had, and you express your gratitude for what you had together when they were here. So you don't ever get over the loss of a special person in your life. You'll never get over it, and you don't want to. Truthfully, you don't want to. That isn't. I don't like the term "get over something," because you can't get over something like that. But you can move on and adapt, and your life does go on. So let me tell you, so I've got a very good friend. His youngest son, he's got two sons. His youngest son, about 19, was just recently killed in a car accident in one of these late winter storms in the Midwest that are that kill us on a regular basis. But anyway, that's a different video. So yeah, and he was a good dad to the son, and the son was just in the process of recreating his life and moving on to something good. And unfortunately, he met his maker on the road. Oh gosh, it's just so sad. It's just unbelievable. But anyway, so yeah, that friend of mine, yeah, how was he going to get over the loss of his son, right? It's the son he cared for his whole life, and that he was looking forward to have the son having a very, very good life and getting together over the years and doing all the stuff that fathers and sons do, and being there for each other and supporting one another and enjoying each other at the normal enjoyment times, and talking on the phone and Skyping and emailing and texting and just being watching from afar, enjoying from afar. That's, sometimes you don't always live near your children. Sometimes as they grow up, they make their own way, and you don't see them all the time, but they're there. You want them there. So anyway, with that, so that's so sad for my friend. And there's something I want to tell him. So I think a way you might want to, if you have a loss like this, how you might think about moving on with your life. So my dad, he was the older son too, in a two boy household, and he had a younger brother. My dad was like the high school class president, a football, basketball star in high school. Smart, intelligent, funny, kind, decent person. And he grew up in a poor environment, very strapped for money. He worked very hard, very good in the school, plus very good to his parents, working around the house and the farm, and taking care of the younger brother. And the younger brother, when my dad was a couple years younger, when my dad went to college in his first or second year, the younger brother got killed in a car accident in Midwest winter. Trying to put the years together quickly for you, 40, 50, 40, nearly 50 years ago. So that would have been my uncle, right? So I never got to know my uncle because he died as a high schooler. So, eerie parallel. Because my friend, the older son, is accomplished. He's in college. Kind of borderline genius type of a guy. I've met him a few times. A very nice boy. He's very smart, funny. Kind of has everything going for him. And the younger son maybe struggled. Trying to find his way. Right in the process of finding his way, he gets killed in the car accident. So there's that, right? It's almost too much for me to think about how similar this is. So what I wanted to tell my friend is this story. And his son, so the son is remaining. So my dad, he stayed tight to his parents. He went off and he got his degrees and, got married to the girl of his dreams, my mom, and raised 3 kids. I'm the oldest. And had one heck of a great life in spite of this enormous pain of losing your brother. And my grandmother and my grandfather, they went on too. They kept working, they kept living, they kept dealing. My grandfather died, kind of when I was fairly young, so I never really got to know him that well. But my grandmother, she lived a long time, and she was a very good grandma to me, and very helpful to my family, my dad and mom and us. And then, my dad watched over his mother. He helped her as she aged. There's just, as an older person, sometimes you need quite a bit of help, and he helped her. And he was very good at helping people because he was smart and wise and decent and good and kind and had a big heart and had an enormous capacity to help others, keep his family, his tight people. So that's a big thing, is that you focus on your people, and you do what you can with the world at large. But when you have people like that, they can really help a family and their friends and the people around them. To me, my dad's life was a good model for living, for men, to take care of yourself and have a capacity to help others as necessary when they need it, and encourage them to take care of themselves, which is the best. But sometimes other people need a boost, need a hand, they need guidance, they need money, they need a lot of things, right? So the story, what I'm trying to convey is my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, their baby son, their baby brother died in this terrible tragedy, similar to my friend's son. Where we're from, the roads in the winter are, to me, they're the most dangerous place on earth. in the winter under the right conditions. And you got to remember that. So anyway, my friend, getting back to my friend and his son, you know, I want them to one, they're gonna have to move on. Well, the son will have to finish his degree and move on with his life and have a decent life and have a good time and have the good relationships and stay tight to his mother and his father and his other relatives. My friend, stay tight to his remaining son. Guide, care, love, enjoy, all of that good stuff. And of course, selfishly, I want my good friend to be who he is, which is a great person, a great friend, a great man. And I hope, I don't want this to destroy him. Because when you have stuff like this happen in your life, it's got the potential to destroy you. I have the feeling that it won't, because he's very strong, very good, he's very great. But there's the potential, and I'd like to encourage him not to let it destroy him. To tell him the story of my dad and my grandma and how they went on and they had great lives. They took care of the people who were remaining, and they did very good things with their lives, even after this loss. So I'm hoping that that's the case. The son and the father, they're both we're doing very, very well. And I hope they can continue to do very, very, very well like they have been. They deserve it. They're good people. I hope that that doesn't impact their lives in a negative way. I don't think the death of another person requires that other people destroy their lives also. It's just one of these tragic things that happen with the car accidents and the things that come up in life like this. They're a reminder to be pretty darn careful when you're in a dangerous area. And the Midwestern winters on the roads are, I would argue, maybe the most dangerous place on earth. But let's not dwell on that at the moment. So that's that. Will my friend, I hope my friend can continue to enjoy his life. I hope his son can have a great life too. And there'll be an adaptation time. Certainly there'll be quite a bit of adapting, figuring out, well, now what, right? Now what? Well, what will happen is you gotta get busy with your own life. I know when my dad died, I gave the talk at his funeral, and what he would have told us at the time was, get busy, take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, take care of what's important. That's what you got to do to move on. And then certainly during the quiet times, you're going to cry. I'm crying about my dad now, right? So, you're not going to get over that kind of a loss, because the loss is too big. It's too big when it's a special person. So you to get over it, you just kind of move on to the next stage of your life, the stage of your life where that person isn't there as a live person. They're there in your life as a memory. So that gets me to I think the end of this talk with one more thought for my friend and his son is, with my uncle who died in a car accident. And my dad and my grandmother, they very rarely talked about him over the years. And I listened to these, my grandma and my dad talk for years. They're good talkers. They had great stories. I loved to sit around and listen to them. But they rarely talked about the son, the brother. Because I think there was so much pain wrapped around this event that they couldn't deal with it even 20, 30, 40, 50 years later. There's just too much pain. So, like, I didn't really get to know my uncle because there's a few stories. So I got a few stories that I remember. But, you know, I'm sure that they held that pain inside all the years, because it's darn painful when you lose a young one like that. Pretty darn painful from just thinking about how this would happen. And of course, I couldn't talk to my grandmother and my dad like I am now. I wasn't able to converse in this manner. I couldn't speak. I was a shy person. I built myself up to become a happier man and taken many steps to talk like this, to write, to share. So I never got the chance to encourage my dad and my grandma to talk about it. So the reason what I'm trying to share here is, I think it would help my friend and his son. And, you know, the friend and the mother are split up, they're divorced. You know, I'm sure the mother, I would say the same thing to her, is why don't you continue to talk about the lost son. Keep that memory going. I think it might help you to relieve some of the sadness, relieve the pain. And I think what happens with my dad and my grandmother, probably my grandfather too, was there was so much pain that couldn't even talk about it 30, 40 years later. You're afraid of the memory, so you don't talk about it. But I would argue that, you know, maybe it would have been better to relieve a little bit of that pain by talking about it, sharing the stories, keep them alive in a memory, even if it's painful. So that's kind of a sad situation, because with my dad and my grandmother, you know, as I think back on them and how good they were to me and how wonderful, there's probably a little bit of like sadness in their eyes. And the sadness is this poor brother, right, who didn't get to live and enjoy life like they did. So yeah, I would have encouraged, if they were here, this is what I would be trying to tell them. Like I'm trying to tell you while I'm crying. I'm sorry to be so emotional about this, but this kind of stuff is, to me, this is real life. This isn't just worrying about politics or sports or, drama on TV. This is you and I. We all deserve to have a good life. We all deserve to have to relieve some of our pain. And I think I'm hoping I can express this to my friend in some manner. We're going to the showing this weekend and then the funeral, so maybe there'll be a chance to talk about it then, or maybe a different time. But yeah, it's just, I wanted to share it with you because, you know, this kind of thing it's gonna happen to some of us from time to time, and it's terrible and it's tragic and it's awful and it's horrible, but that's how life is. You're gonna have to move on and have a good life in spite of massive losses in it, in spite of massive problems and frustrations. So I mean, give that idea some thought. I hope your loved ones can live long, happy lives without getting killed at a young age. And I hope you can find, and if tragedy does strike you, I hope you can find a way to relieve some of that pain. It's all for now.